10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey everyone, welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh, glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us on this Monday, June the 30th, 2025. Got a great show planned for you as usual, and we're grateful that you're here. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM on terrestrial radio. We're also streaming live at cklu.ca on the internet. You can just click on the Radio Player Canada app and you can stream us. If you download it, you can take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. You have to remember that's your favorite device, not just any old device, because not any device will do. It has to play an app. So there you go. We're also streaming live at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow the channel and the page. Mainly comment. We'll do our best to get your comments up on the screen for those watching, read for those listening, and then we'll also be found on demand on those same two platforms, along with x.com/Sudbury News. So that's how you can check out the show afterwards, after the show is live. And you can continue to comment on facebook.com. That's where the conversation continues. So also, you can catch the show on our website, sudbury.news. It's a way to get all of the news from Sudbury. It comes to one website. It's aggregated into one location. So you're able to consume all the news. You don't have to go around searching for where the stories are or going to all the different media outlets. It's in one page. So there you go. So let's dive right in with a little bit of weather. We'll kick off things with that, and then we'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and more right after this. And weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. We had to find a new way to get the weather because I guess Environment Canada changed their website altogether, and CBC even didn't even know what to do about it. The website was down on Thursday, I believe it was, on the 26th of June. So hasn't functioned the same ever since, and now we've got to find a new way to do it. But currently it's cloudy out there. And what's the current temperature? Let's see. It's about 16 degrees Celsius. And today we can expect it to be mostly cloudy. 30% chance of showers, changing to a 70% chance of showers with thunderstorms this afternoon, risk of thunderstorms this morning. And high of 26 with the humidex, it'll feel like 34. And then tonight, partly cloudy with a 60% chance of showers, risk of thunderstorm. Fog patches developing overnight. And low of 20. And then for tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud. 30% chance of showers in the afternoon with a risk of thunderstorm. Fog patches dissipating in the morning, high of 25. Humidex 31. So that's for your Canada Day. Not looking the greatest at the moment. They were forecasting it to be completely sunny yesterday, but now 30% chance of showers with a risk of thunderstorms, similar to today. And then Wednesday, 24 and cloudy. Thursday, 23 and a 30% chance of showers. Friday, 26 and sunny. There's your sunny day this week. And then cloudy on Saturday with a 25 degree temperature. 25 as well on Sunday with a 30% chance of showers. So a lot of clouds, a lot of precipitation possibility in the forecast for the next week with one sunny day. And that's a look at your weather. I don't think I have a satellite at the moment. No satellite with this particular forecast, but that's your weather, brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. We'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and more right after this. Okay, now welcome back. And I didn't see any sound with that. Not sure why. I'll have to go back and check on that. We're all kinds of different technology glitches going on recently. I don't know when they started, but just seems like one thing after another on every device, the software, things are glitching out and acting kind of crazy these days. But yeah, we didn't have a show on Friday. So that's that. And it looks like, I guess, people aren't really getting notifications this morning for today's show. And yeah, so just welcome to the new normal, I guess, with the internet. And things have shifted. I don't know if you're feeling the shift at all out there, but things have shifted quite a bit. I know I just feel it. And it's kind of crazy, actually. Speaking of kind of crazy, there's all kinds of crazy. And good morning to the 3 people I see on here. Usually there's like 17 people on by now, but there's, again, who knows, maybe the long weekend. People are enjoying this long weekend, right? Good morning, Nana on YouTube. Good morning, everyone. The heart emoji. Good morning, Judy. Thanks for being on. And Hazel, prayer emoji there, much needed. Good morning to you. That's probably what's going on. And we're not planning on having a show tomorrow because it's Canada Day, and we've got to take advantage of every possible opportunity to take some time to rest and relax and recharge. Rest, relax, recharge. Interesting. So then we'll be back on Wednesday all the way through Friday, regular times as usual. We may have a special show, though, tomorrow evening. I have a friend of mine who wants to start a podcast on people's stories from HSN, people's stories from our healthcare system. And that's all they're going to focus on in their podcast. So it's a friend of mine, Dave, and then his friend Dave, which is also my friend Dave. They should call the podcast Two Daves or something like that. But Dave Chevrier, Dave Sylvester should be joining us tomorrow night for a special kind of kickoff of what they'll be doing for a special podcast. And I think it's timely. I really do. I think people need a forum. They need a platform. They need a place to discuss their experiences they're having with HSN. Someone just reached out to me on email. I believe it was Thursday or Friday. It was last week. Thursday morning, possibly. Saying that or might have been Friday morning, they want me to reach out to them if I'm interested in knowing more about their horrific experience at HSN with their father. And so this was the morning after I was talking with David Chevrier about him he called me about, hey, what do you think if I did a podcast just sharing stories from what people experience going through our healthcare system? And I said, well, I really do think it's something that you're going to get a lot of people commenting on because everyone who goes there has an experience, and not all of them good. Most of them, although thankful that they have a healthcare system, they actually have a hospital. That's one thing, right? So many places may not even have that. So we have to be thankful that we even have something. But then while we're there, if we're waiting for 17, 18, 24 hours to get in to see somebody, then when we get in, we go through the tests we go through. We might not get a bed if we need one. We're in the hallway for hallway medicine kind of thing. If we're lucky, they say you're lucky to get a pillow. Pillows are in demand there, and sometimes you don't even get a pillow. Then if you have to be sent for tests or you need to go see a specialist, there's wait times for that. So you may be waiting weeks or months or years in order to get the next stage of your whatever it is that you need to do for your health to find out what's wrong or to treat what's wrong. And there's many people that have stories to tell from that. And I think it's just something we're going to have to, I don't know. We're being forced to get used to lower standards of healthcare, of our legal system, of our education system. Every system we have in our country, we're being conditioned to accept less now than what we have had in the recent past. And it's all just to prepare us for the future, right? As we are a socialist country, and that's what socialism delivers. It makes everyone equally as poor, equally as in a bad situation. Everybody, there's government and then there's people. In a socialist or a communist is what we're heading towards. We're socialism now. We're heading towards communism. If we're not already there, we're being conditioned for it anyways. All the laws are being changed in order to embrace it and govern in that way. So Grand Rising, this is Monique. Heard say weather channels will no longer tell us whether what is coming is not good, will not be warned. Check out Geomagnetic Earth Watch on YouTube. Geomagnetic Earth Watch. That's Geomagnetic Earth Watch on YouTube. Interesting. I'm going to check that out for sure. Thanks, Monique. Denise, blessings everyone. Heart emoji. Espanola, Ontario refused treatment to people, left them sitting in the parking lot crying. There's no heart anymore. Interesting. See, again, everyone has a story, and I'm sure we're eager to share it and learn from one another. Andrew, good morning. I've not said good morning in days. 8 days. Came back from an Alaskan cruise. Well, congratulations. I hope you enjoyed that, Andrew. It sounds spectacular, actually, an Alaskan cruise. Must have been breathtaking, to say the least. So thanks for sharing that, and thanks for being back, and thanks for checking in. Diane, good morning to you. Much appreciated for being on. And Denise also says there's a doctor that also said they give you the vaccine if you're under getting an operation for anything. They give it to you whether you say yes or no. You have no idea. Well, that's interesting. I haven't heard that before. So I guess you go into the hospital, they put you under with anesthesia to get your operation, and then they also give you that at the same time. Wow. That's craziness. Equally powerless, everybody in a socialist, communist country, right? Which we are quickly moving into. You can tell all the laws are changing in order to facilitate that process. All these bills coming out. The structure of our government, the legal system, the education system, the healthcare system, whatever system it is, all being changed for that particular governing model. And we're the lucky ones who get to go through it. So isn't that great? Okay, so switching gears a bit to our news aggregator here. Okay, so you have, speaking of communist, Jamie West is here, Sudbury.com story. And you might say, what do you mean communist? He's the NDP party. Well, I mean, they may not just come out and say it or whatever, but that is exactly what the platform of that party is. And when you hear them speak about their ideology and what that represents, that's exactly what it is, right? So, but I guess they're penning a letter to the education minister over special needs services. Sudbury MPP says the system is so broken, right? So even they're saying the system is broken, and children are being turned away from schools. People are being turned away at hospitals, turned away at schools. We don't really offer much. And if you need to go to court for whatever reason, your son was killed by a drunk driver, you have to wait years and years in order to get the trial, while the person who did the crime or allegedly did the crime is out on bail. So, and then the court system stalls so much, the person says, well, it's past the time that I should legally be able to get a trial and whatever. And so they have to dismiss it. And so it's just broken. And then you have the housing crisis, the opioid crisis, the homelessness crisis on top of all these broken systems. And something's got to give. It's the dike that's got all the cracks in it, or the dam, however you want to word it. It's got all these cracks and holes, and the water's starting to come through, and bigger cracks are being made, and you can see what's going to happen. Like eventually, all the water on the other end is going to flood you, and there's going to be just a lot of mayhem, and you got a lot of cleanup to do. And then you got to do another solution for, you have to build another dam, right? So that's where we find ourselves in our society. I won't comply to none of it. We are a free country. That's Hazel. Okay, great. And happy Canada Day all. That's Marvin out in Alberta. Good morning to you, Marvin, and happy Canada Day as well. That's just a preemptive happy Canada Day. Nothing wrong with that. There's a follow-up story to the stabbing in Chelmsford here from the Sudbury Star. For Jesse Brave will be sentenced on August the 27th. The victim may never walk again without assistance. Remember that? The stabbing in Chelmsford a while back now. And again, it's just things take a long time in our legal system to move through. Even if it's moving through at a regular pace, it takes a long time. And that's funny, Pierrette. So if we want to keep our Canada ours, we need to stand up and help stomp out government overreach. Yeah, good luck with that. And the reason why I say that is it's like a tsunami at the moment, and we haven't seen anything yet. Just like Randy Bachman said a while ago. Right? You ain't seen nothing yet, baby. And that's exactly what's, you can just feel it in the air. And with that, I just have to let everybody know that the opinions expressed on this show are that of the host, the commenters, the guests, and their own opinions. And they don't necessarily reflect that of Laurentian University, the staff or faculty there, or that of the staff or volunteers of CKLU. They are the opinions of the host, the guests, and the commenters alone on this show. And speaking of that, good morning, Marvin. Morning to all. And Monique says, our so-called free country is an illusion. We are a corporation for one. That is true. We are a corporation. And I had a really cool segment. I had a really cool segment of a documentary talking about the three cities, if you will, or three areas in the world. You have you have the District of Columbia, you have the Crown, and then you have the Vatican City. And they're three distinct areas of the world that don't belong to any country. They're sovereign in and of themselves. And one is for the military of the world, one's for the finances of the world, and one's for the religion of the world. And that's really how it's truly governed. And from there, everything else comes from that. So I'll play that at some point. I don't know if I'd be able to find it on the fly at all, but one of these days I'll play that for everybody and you could know what I'm talking about. And good morning, Vin. Thanks for being on. Sheila, good morning from Quebec with a smiley emoji. And Denise says Jihad has been called for July the 4th. They will leave Canada to enter the USA. The sleeper cells are waking. It's not going to be good going forward. That is one aspect of the tsunami that we're going to be experiencing in the near future for sure. There's so many angles, so many things. It's like we're going to be bombarded with all kinds of stuff. It's time to take care of business and get Canada back to us. Yeah, that would be great. Great if possible. And good morning. What's going on? Well, we're just trying to have a show here. Okay, so moving on, I had some stories from Sudbury.com, but I also wanted to check into, Sudbury.com. I also have some stories from Sudbury Star. Some of the stories we need to get caught up on here. Oh, no headlines on that one. That's interesting. Unless it's a huge story. Okay. Oh, another ad. This is the third ad that's come up while I've been looking at this story. That's interesting. I guess I won't be sharing much of Sudbury.com anymore. If there's just millions of ads coming up, you can't even read the story. Okay, and all right. Oh, another ad. Look at these guys. It's just ad after ad after ad. I don't know what they think they're doing. They're just opening up for competition where they won't have ads getting in your face as you're just trying to read the stories. Probably not a good thing. Okay, there you go. So I guess I'm just not going to share any of the stories from Sudbury.com. And here we go. Bunk. Sudbury Star, who don't throw up an ad in front of the story. They actually send you a nice newsletter each and every weekday morning between around 7 o'clock in the morning. And good morning, Monique. Thanks for being on. Cloud emoji with the rain. And I guess the flowers are very happy with that. Yeah. And I can't say I disagree with you, Northern Hillbilly, on that one. I'd love to be able to go downtown again alone and feel safe. That's Pierrette. A lot of people are with you on that one. So let's see here. So regarding the death of a recent Sudbury murder here, Robin Emmeline Kanasaway, she was 40 years old. They've charged a 14-year-old in the shooting death, June the 13th. They've released images of a third suspect officers believe was involved in the murder. In an update Friday, police said Peel Regional Police arrested a youth in the Peel region on June the 27th. He was scheduled to appear in bail court on Friday. Police cannot release his name under the Youth Criminal Justice Act because he's too young. The youth is the second person police have charged in Casinaway's slaying. Officers arrested Braden Jordan, 19 years old, on Barrydown Road about 6 hours after the shooting. And more on that in a bit. But this is something I was alluding to earlier in the show. Justice delayed is justice denied. This is the painful truth for the Hirschfield family of Skeid 2 years after Adam Hirschfield was killed by an alleged impaired driver. The family is still waiting for the cause to be heard in court. The accused remains free on bail, and a trial date has now been pushed to September 2026 in Superior Court. Delayed by a growing backlog in the judicial system and a shortage of judges. So a growing backlog in the judicial system and a shortage of judges, no less. Is this sounding familiar? So this is the legal system, right? Shortage of doctors, hallway medicine, if you just equate it to healthcare. And now in the judicial system, a backlog of issues they're dealing with. And a shortage of judges, just like a shortage of doctors. What is this? What's going on? You know what I mean? Like, we're just expected to expect less from our judicial system, from our healthcare system, our education system, you name it. Just expect less because what's coming is less. And good morning, Pat. Thanks for being on. As we move into our communist system of government, we need to expect these things. So we're getting conditioned to have poor healthcare, poor legal system, long waits, just that's what you can expect. So it's unfortunate that this had happened 2 years ago. So they have a billboard that's put in memory of Adam where the scene took place. The sign reads, Adam Hirschfeld killed 2 years ago by a drunk driver. No justice served. It was here the billboard was erected earlier this month that Adam was hit head-on by an alleged impaired driver in the early morning hours. June the 17th, 2023. The 29-year-old father died on the scene. So again, this is just something that you're going to hear more and more and more of as things are more backlogged in our legal system. No judges, longer wait times in the emergency system, healthcare system, in the emergency, no doctors, less doctors, hallway medicine, expected for the next 10 years, we were told at the HSN's AGM, right? These aren't good forecasts for you as a taxpayer. Like, you pay very high taxes. And for what? We got another COVID-19 outbreak at the hospital. Speaking of our healthcare system, right? It was in the North Tower of HSN, 2 floors. Health Sciences North has been impacted by a COVID outbreak. Announced Monday, the outbreak was initially confined to the cardiology unit on the 8th floor of the North Tower, but has since spread to the 4th floor, which also cares for some cardiology patients. As of Thursday afternoon, a total of 5 patients have tested positive and are being isolated from other patients to prevent spreading of the virus, said HSN spokesperson Aaron Pickard. Another different spelling of Aaron. That's the fourth spelling I've heard in 2 days. He said in a message to the Sudbury Star, the hospital's infection and prevention control team are diligently monitoring the situation. What I would suggest is do another test on these people, because apparently the tests aren't accurate and were never meant by the person who invented the test to be used in this way. So you may want to just test them again, and you never know. Maybe they will show that they don't have COVID. So just a suggestion. You can test them again, and good chance that they will show that they're not positive this time. So I guess I already clicked on that one. Now we're going to go to taxes could go up next year in the greater city of Sudbury. So that's good news, right? Taxes could go up next year in Sudbury. Get ready to open your wallets. Your taxes may be going up in 2026. During last week's meeting of the Finance Committee, councillors started looking at next year's operating budget, as well as the wastewater outlook and how much more that it might cost homeowners. Right now, city taxpayers are looking at a 3.2% tax hike for the next year. Paul Lefebvre proposed a maximum increase to the operating budget of 1.7%. He said council would also need to determine whether to continue with the 1.5% capital levy. Goes on to say, we need to have a conversation in September as to whether or not we will keep the 1.5% special levy. The special pays for improvements to the city of Sudbury's infrastructure, such as fixing roads and keep water and sewer lines operating. We think that's pretty important. As Lefebvre noted, several outside boards are currently negotiating new contracts. So the unions are going to want pay raises for their union members. So now we're going to be having to pay for the raises, right? What is it? 64% of Sudbury's budget goes to the labor. And I just had a report from a whistleblower or whatever, someone from the city, saying that a lot of the money for the labor is going to overtime because there's an unprecedented amount of people just calling in sick. And then you got to find someone to replace them, and then they're getting overtime. So they're doing the same amount of work, same amount of hours, but because people are calling in sick so much, they have to pay the people who are doing the work overtime. So it just increases the amount of money that they're paying people to do the same work. Several outside boards are currently negotiating for contracts which could carry tax increases. City Council ultimately approved the budgets of the Public Health Sudbury and districts, as well as the Greater Sudbury Police Service, Conservation Sudbury, and the Greater Sudbury Public Library. So all their budgets were approved. The challenge right now is some are having negotiations. So given that situation in early September, we should have a conversation about the direction we should be giving the outside boards and the increases they will be looking at. So this is a very interesting story. Good Samaritan has vehicle stolen by driver he was helping. Driver stopped to assist a man who rolled his vehicle on Highway 17, had his vehicle swiped by the man he was trying to help. The Manitoulin detachment of the OPP said in a release that officers responded to a report of a stolen vehicle on June the 20th, about 4 a.m. Police said the victim reported that they had come to a single vehicle rollover collision on Highway 17 in the Sable Spanish River Township. When the passerby stopped to offer them help, their vehicle was stolen by the driver involved in the collision. You can't make this stuff up. So someone stops to help someone who rolled their vehicle. You would think that'd be pretty darn horrific, right? But they were thankful enough to the person to be able to steal their vehicle, the one who stopped to help them. What an age we live in. I can't believe it. Absolutely incredible. And just can you imagine stopping to help somebody? And then all of a sudden, they just hop in your vehicle and take it? So hopefully the assailant was caught and things are going to be going back to normal, per se. Okay, so let's see here. Doing a bit of a deep dive. It's really interesting if you look, as we said, our kind of country is falling apart. I don't know, is that news? Is that breaking news? Is anyone surprised that all the systems are broken inside of our country, and they just seem to be getting more and more broken. And so you wonder what is the reason for all this stuff. But then you look at the top, from the top down, and how things are being done. And then you go, oh, yes, it's the people making the decisions that are kind of adding to this. So you've probably seen this or heard of this, of, when you have a minister that you have a minister of whatever. So Canada has a minister of this, a minister of that. It just depends. Whatever it is. They have a minister for everything. A minister for armpit hair. A minister for, dust mites. They got a minister for everything, right? But you would think the ministers that they pick or choose for whatever it is that they're over would have some type of experience in the thing that they're being asked to be a minister over, because that would make sense. Like if you're the Minister of Justice, you'd think, well, maybe you're a lawyer because you have some experience in the justice system. Or the Minister of Education, you have some experience in education. Maybe you should at least be educated yourself, and then maybe you should have some experience in the education system before being the Minister of Education, right? Wouldn't that just make a little bit of sense? But no, not in Canada. We don't need any of that. You can just be the minister of whatever you want. And I've seen some exchanges with the justice minister, and where did I go here? He doesn't even know, what a gun license is. It's just insane. So here's an example of maybe just a few of the ministers and their backgrounds. It just gives your head a shake.
Transport minister who doesn't own a car. An immigration minister who doesn't know how many people are in our country illegally. A housing minister who saw the prices of homes go up 200%, blamed investors, then quietly flipped his own property. Public safety minister who doesn't understand firearm classifications, but still signs off on bans, and had to recuse himself over a conflict of interest to not one, but two designated terrorist groups. We have a minister of innovation and AI who was a CBC journalist with zero experience in tech or AI, but lots of experience selling art to Mark Carney. And then we have our prime minister who led 2 central banks but can't put together a budget because it's summertime. And finally, although she's not a minister, she's the head of Canada's health agency, has zero training on human biology, epidemiology, infectious diseases, or drug addiction. She's not a scientist, and in fact has a master's in chemical engineering. This is the Liberal Party of Canada.
Does that make any sense to anybody, anywhere, anytime, at all? No, it doesn't. But I've been hearing this term for the last year or maybe a little bit more, clown world. I know you're familiar with that. Doesn't it seem like that's a good kind of description, though? Seems like that. Seems like we're in kind of a circus of sorts. And you can hear the circus music playing in the background as he's telling us these are the ministers that we have over these different things. And laughable. Either you laugh or you cry, because this is your country. This is why you pay almost all of your income on taxes, whether they be municipal, provincial, federal. And eventually we're going to run out of taxes, right? And so that's what communism will bring, a universal income for everyone. Everyone will be paid the same. And everyone will just be as poor as each other. And you have people that are just assigned to these positions that make no sense. You can just tell they're just installed. They're not there for your benefit. They're just there for the government's benefit, I guess. Because why would you have somebody in there that has zero experience with the thing they're in charge of if it wasn't that case? Like, they're obviously not there to improve the very thing that they're there to do. How can they improve on something they have no clue about? It's just incredible. I don't understand. So many things I don't understand that are out there. It's, wow. I'm just looking through some of the things that I wanted to get to here. Not sure. Yeah. And then you have the idea of us getting to net zero. You know, I think maybe I'd like to focus on that a little bit more, about the whole net zero thing. That's just a financial thing. It's a transfer of wealth. It's a transfer of power. It has nothing to do with the planet, saving the planet whatsoever. And it's being used to bring in this new communistic system, global communism, for everyone, to be able to save the planet. So why? Yeah. Again, I just almost, it's almost to the point where you just short out. It's just, there's so many things that your brain just shorts out and says, what? Like, what's going to happen with humanity, basically, on a large scale, and what's going to happen to us as Canadians? And then even you look at our own city, which is very socialistic, very, like, they drunk the Kool-Aid many years ago. Everything is socialism. Everything's the government's the answer for everything. And we see where that's going locally, right? People are afraid to go downtown, can't get any treatment in the hospital. There's so many things. You're just driving on the most terrible roads ever in the world. Our infrastructure is going to be crumbling. It's already showing signs of that. And then we increase the taxes on people. But there's a point where there's no more taxes to get because they're already giving you 100% of their income. Because if you keep increasing taxes, but you don't increase wages, or the economy isn't strong and people losing their jobs, or they're just not getting as much money as they used to get for their labors, you can't tax them anymore. You run out of money. And then what happens then? Right? So that's where we're at now. And everything points to that, unfortunately. And that's all the time we got on the show today. But I appreciate you guys being on. We made a show of it anyways. We made a go of it. Tomorrow's Canada Day, so I wish everyone a wonderful Canada Day. Celebrate, I guess, what was Canada. As Mark Carney says, we look back and we're nostalgic, but can we salvage the history and some of the ideas we've had of history, or do we make a new world order? And Mark Carney says, I think he's in favor of a new world order, is what he said. He wants to change things and move on in his way to benefit him and his people, right? So I guess we can celebrate what was Canada. At least that's worth celebrating. What we would want Canada to be, that's a good thing too. What Canada should be, that's a great thing to celebrate. What it's becoming, though, is scary. And unless something's done, which I can't really see the solution. I don't even, usually I have all kinds of solutions. The solution is individuals just really understanding what's going on an individual basis. But I don't know if that's possible from the last 4 years, seeing how people just went along with everything and weren't able to think critically and were so influenced by media and people that were just peer pressure and stuff. It's just, I don't know if there's that much hope collectively, unfortunately. That's just my realistic. I'm an optimistic realist, and that's my realist side coming out. Yeah. But can't lose hope of hope. Just hope itself. We can't lose hope in hope. And there's a higher power, obviously, here that we can rely on, that we'll need to in coming days, for sure. And I guess that's the hope we have to cling to. But thanks, everyone, for being on today. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. We'll be back on Wednesday, and we'll probably have a guest on, Pierre Benum. He's moved out of Canada because of what he saw Canada, the trajectory Canada was on. So he moved to El Salvador, and he's living the dream at the moment. So he should be on Wednesday to talk about that. And we'll see how his life's been going for the last year or so. He's been down there. And he was a guest on this show regularly many times. And so, yeah, we'll look forward to having him on Wednesday. Remember to stay aware, like, share, take care. And we'll be back same time, same place on Wednesday, God willing. Have a wonderful Canada Day, everyone. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Ciao for now.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.